Hey guys, it's Alissa. Happy New Year! It's 2013 now. We took a short break from doing videos just for a few days to kind of detox from Vlogmas and all the holiday things. And we've actually been talking about today doing beta. We tried to do beta. I think I'm saying that right. The vlog. We tried to do the vlog every day in April and August, and it was a big fat fail. And then this is really our first attempt together to try to do them for April and August of this year. So hopefully that's something to look forward to. I found a really cute tag called the childhood favorites tag that I wanted to do for you today. It's not New Year related or anything. I just thought it was cool. And it actually sort of gives you a little insight, I guess, into our personal history. I want to tag Rochelle and definitely my friend on YouTube, Graphic Alley. And if any of you guys want to do this tag, I tag you. It's very hard for me to tag people like individually from my phone, but I would really love some video responses for this one because I just think it's a really cool tag. And I'm not exactly sure where it originated from because I've seen several people doing it, so I have no idea. But anyway, the first question is favorite childhood memory. This one is so hard for me. There's so many good ones and so many funny ones, but for whatever reason, I think because it's winter time, the one that stands out for me is when I was in kindergarten, I lived in Petersburg, Virginia. My dad was in the military as a captain, whatever the base is closest to that. Is that Fort Lee? I think Fort Lee is the one near Petersburg. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm a swig a thing of Diet Coke. Again, not sponsored, but you do see this a lot. So if Diet Coke wants to send me any free stuff, that would be awesome. The professionalism of this channel. But anyways, as I was saying, the place we lived on was like right off from an army base where I went to kindergarten. And Petersburg is actually a pretty cool city. There's like some streets that are still made out of bricks, and of course, you know, it has a lot of American history tied to it. But one thing about living there that stands out in my mind is there were two, and on our street, there were like, the houses were relatively close together, and there was like a wooded area behind our house. And I have like faint memories of what the insides of the houses look like. Of course, like, it's hard when you look at a picture because you don't know if you're actually remembering it or if you're just kind of going off what the picture has. But there was a little boy that lived across the street from me, and I used to go over there and play with him all day. I don't remember his name. I'd have to ask my grandmother. I used to go over to his house all the time, and I specifically remember like sitting with him on their couch, and they had one of those china cabinets with the china plates and the dolls in it. I'm watching Cinderella. And then there was another little boy, apparently like I was a player when I was in kindergarten, because down the street was another little boy, and his mom hosted this really cool party in the winter time. And of course, like, you know, all of these places were within walking distance. So my mom walked me down to the party, and they decorated the trees outside their yard for Christmas, but they decorated it with things that the birds could eat. So we made, we strung popcorn and cranberries, and we made those bird feeders like back before everyone had a peanut allergy, or it was like more commonplace. I didn't mean that to sound derogatory, but it kind of did. And it was like the pine cones with the peanut butter, or now people do them with Crisco because it's a little safer for people with allergies, where you rolled them in bird seed. And I just remember thinking that was like the coolest party that I'd ever been to, when we decorated the Christmas trees for the birds outside. So something fun you can do with your kids, I guess. But anyway, the next question is, favorite story you don't remember but that was told to you? I have two that I don't really remember. My grandmother and my mom have both said that when I was little, I used to be afraid of this toy. There used to be a toy store called Lionel Play World. I don't know if it exists now or not, but back in the 80s it did. And we used to go there, and I would look for those little, I think now they're called calico critters, those little teeny rabbits and raccoons and like woodland animals that have a dollhouse. But back in the day, they used to be called Sylvanian families, and I was obsessed. I had a little rabbit, Sylvanian, a gray one, and I think my parents must have had like 50 of these things because they constantly had to give them to me when I was losing them. But I had one in particular that was solid gray, and I used to put a water glass over him at night so he didn't run away. And of course I don't really remember that, but I don't remember going to buy them And not far on the toy shelf from them was a doll called My Pet Monster. I think they actually like maybe redid him a couple of years ago, but my family says I was like terrified, and they would always be like, "Oh, Alyssa, we're gonna get you this My Pet Monster," and I would just like flip out because I was terrified of it. And another one I don't remember is I was very obsessed with like the stuffed animals that restaurants used to put out, like My Little Ponies and Pound Puppies, and those Muppets, like the Muppet dolls that McDonald's used to put out. And I was like super obsessed. And apparently I was like maybe a little bit spoiled. Apparently my family would go to all these different fast food establishments, and my grandparents of course lived in a different state, so they would go to all the ones like locally that they could get to try and get all of these Pound Puppies or Muppets in a certain collection, and I would like hoard them and was kind of psycho about collecting them, and I don't remember that at all. I do have them all, but I don't remember being like an avid collector. Next one, favorite candy. Oh gosh. When I was a kid, I know one of my favorite candies was Fruit Stripe gum, especially the kind that would tattoo your tongue. And I was really big into the Fruit Roll-Ups that did that too. And I know this isn't really like a candy, but I really loved those Ecto Coolers with Slimer from the Ghostbusters that the High C Fruit Punch people put out. I really wish they'd bring Ecto Cooler back because it was delicious. But I still sometimes go to the grocery store and get the orange flavored ones because I think they're delicious, and I have no shame in being almost 30 years old and drinking out of a High C Fruit Punch box. Especially I work at the preschool, I can get away with it, right? And I guess my other favorite candy was probably, gosh, that's so hard. I used to like those Mamba chews, and then at one point, like, they recalled them because of mad cow disease or something, and now I still see them in grocery stores, so I'm kind of hesitant to buy them. I liked the Mamba. And I used to really like the M&Ms back when the blue one first came out and you could vote for it. I would always have to separate them by color. Even like that. I was a really weird kid. And the next one, favorite movie and TV show. Wow. Well, my parents say when I was really little, I was obsessed with this TV show about a girl robot that kind of looked like me named, the show was called Small Wonder, and the robot was named Vicky. I don't really remember. I know I loved the cartoon Mapletown about the rabbits and Davy the Gnome. I was obsessed with coming home after school and watching Reading Rainbow and Carmen, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I loved Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street. I loved Kids Incorporated. Oh my gosh, when Jennifer Love Hewitt was and Carrie Russell were in Kids Incorporated and the Mickey Mouse Club. Oh my gosh, I loved them. I really loved the Torkelsons. I've talked about them in several other videos. And I really was into that Adventures in Wonderland. I watched mostly Disney and Nickelodeon and PBS, I guess, when I was little. I loved Wishbone. Oh my gosh, Wishbone the dog show. I was obsessed with that for the longest time. And I also really liked, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I liked Under the Umbrella Tree and The House at Pooh Corner, and like all the Salute Your Shorts and Hey Dude and those kind of shows. I could go on about that forever because I was obsessed with television. Favorite game? Oh wow. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on with my voice today. It's like having a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde moment. I think my favorite game when I was little was, my mom ordered us that like bumblebee pen from the Bill Cosby picture pages. This is like very much aging myself right now. And along with it was a green, it was a separate toy, but I played with them together. There was a green, like, Caboodles looking kind of box. Caboodles, that's another childhood thing. Comment below if you had a Caboodles. Anyway, it was green, and it was like a little box that had all these cards in it of games and activities and things, and it was called Pickles, or like the Pickles Bus. I need to look this up, because now I'm kind of interested to see if I can get one cheap on eBay or something for when I have kids someday. But I used to love the crap out of Pickles. The Pickles cards and the activities, and I really liked that thing that was like a stencil, and it was Barbie, and you could change the different plates in it to make the outfits, and then you would color over it with a colored pencil, and you could like create, it was like a fashion designer kind of thing. I loved that. And then I also really liked, I had this thing, I don't know what it was called, but it was like this huge, and now it's basically like the 80s version of a Elite pad, but it had these spiral bound books in it, and you could touch it with a pen, and then you had to put in a cassette tape and press the button. It was like this whole big thing. I can't remember the name of it though, but it was like Alvin and the Chipmunks books. I used to sing some Alvin and the Chipmunks songs when I was little, and It's a Small World. There were lots of Disney books that you could put on it. And I used to just like, I was obsessed with that thing. And then I also had Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby, which I heard that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but there's like this thing on the internet that says if you put an Ozzy Osbourne tape or something like that, some like really hard metal tape in the Teddy Ruxpin, that it like he moves his mouth, not necessarily along with it, but it's like a really funny thing to do. So I'm really tempted to bust out my old Teddy Ruxpin. I think one of his eyes is not there anymore. I think he just has one eye now. But I really want to try the Ozzy Osbourne tape thing. I don't even know where one would acquire a Ozzy Osbourne tape at this point, but I want to get one, and I want to try it in my Teddy Ruxpin because I think that's funny. And another thing I really liked was well, one thing I was really afraid of, speaking of like toys and games, was there was a My Buddy doll and a Cricket doll. It was like My Buddy, Kid Sister were by the same company, and then there was another doll that you could put a tape in called Cricket. And my family got me Cricket, and I feel like maybe when I first got her, I liked her. Then all the Child's Play movies came out, and Puppet Master, and all those movies about dolls killing people. And I became very terrified of My Buddy because he looks exactly like Chucky. I don't know if Chucky was based off My Buddy or if My Buddy doll was based off of Chucky. If you have any information about that, let me know or shoot me a private message because I'd be really curious to know why they look exactly the same. I'm pretty sure that My Buddy is a killer Chucky doll, but maybe that's just me. The next question, I got a little off track on the toys and game one. What was your favorite thing to do as a kid? Oh man, I used to love to watch Lamb Chops play along, and I had Lamb Chop puppets, and I would talk to them and annoy my sister with them. And I loved playing school, which is funny because I'm a teacher now. I was really bossy as a kid. Loved to play school. I loved to get out all of my Happy Meal toys. Especially there was one series of Happy Meal toys that for some reason have like always stuck out in my mind. I had the Fraggle cars where they're in like little rutabagas and stuff, and you could, roll them across the pavement and everything. But the ones that were my favorite was McDonald's first went through like a health food initiative back in the like late 80s, early 90s, I think. And they had these little things. There was a milk, an apple, a bread, and I guess like a steak. I think a steak. It was before the 4 food groups, I think, or 5 food groups. I don't remember exactly. But they were little plastic milk and apple and sandwich and stuff with faces. And then when you opened them up, they had a notepad that was the shape of whatever item they were. I was obsessed with them. I can remember waiting for the ice cream man when we lived in Fort Benning, Georgia, and sitting and like just playing with those. And I thought that they were the most amazing thing. But I think probably that and any kind of like pretend activity, school or house, was my favorite. Favorite grade in school. Oh man, well my favorite teacher, I wish I could find her. I've tried to find her on Facebook so many times and I can't, but my favorite teacher's name was Melissa Connell, and she used to teach at Meadows Elementary in Fort Hood, Texas. So if anyone knows her or have some kind of weird connection to that, let me know because I would love to find her. She was my favorite teacher. That was 2nd grade, and I really loved like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I think all were my favorites. I was afraid of my kindergarten teacher, but I liked the stuff that we did in kindergarten. She was kind of like intense and sort of mean, but she was a good teacher, I will say that. But I really liked 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. There's different things that we did in each grade that stick out in my mind. I loved that my 3rd grade teacher made us warm fuzzies, and then she had a tissue box with a mirror in it so we could see somebody special. And it was yourself. And my 2nd grade teacher was amazing. She got me, I was kind of going through a hard time with my parents. My dad had some issues that caused some family things when I was in 2nd grade, and she was just so kind to me and so supportive, and I really loved her and still do. And I really liked that my 3rd grade teacher introduced me to all the Roald Dahl books and got me interested in that and Bunnicula and into reading. And then my 4th grade teacher, I actually was in the gifted and talented program, and so I was like shuttled back and forth to a different school. I don't remember if it was every day or every other day, but that school we got to meet famous cartoonists, and we got to go to this museum and make macaroni necklaces and sit in a boat and like act out moments in history. And I just remember thinking that was really cool. And I loved playing Oregon Trail when I was in 4th grade, and the gifted and talented kids, we were like in a separate trailer. And I thought that was back when computers were like the size of giant flat screen TVs now. They were huge, but I used to love me some Oregon Trail. And next one, favorite childhood photo. Oh wow. Well, I pulled out several for you. This one is the first time that I ever flipped the middle finger. Also, I kind of look like Archie Bunker from, or actually no, I kind of look like Otis Campbell from Andy Griffith. I have a misshapen head. And then another one I wanted to show you is this very hideous one of my sister and I at Easter one year. My mom always got us corsages every year for Easter, but that is Tara and I. And if you check I had my hair permed, giant afro. That's really scary. And then the next question, favorite meal. Oh man, I was a really picky eater as a kid. I can remember putting corn and green beans on my sister's plates. I didn't like them, and she was little, so no one really knew what was happening. But I loved the Fun Feast, especially the fried chicken one. And I still like that. I actually think I have one in the refrigerator to pack for school when school starts back next week. And I really liked, oh my gosh, probably my favorite meal was a Happy Meal. Really didn't matter like where the Happy Meal was from, as long as I had a good toy. But I think my favorite Happy Meal was getting the McDonald's chicken nugget Happy Meal with honey for the sauce. I just thought that was like the greatest thing ever. Probably that or Fun Feast or like a kid's cuisine would have been my very favorite. And then I also used to like to go, in Texas they didn't do Chuck E. Cheese, they had Pistol Pete's Pizza, which was like a Yosemite Sam looking kind of dude. And is that the little short one with the mustache? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I used to like to go and have that. And then the last question is favorite thing about being a kid. I think the best thing for me about being a kid was that it just seemed like anything was possible. I can remember watching like Reading Rainbow and Wishbone and just thinking like I wanted to do that someday, and I could go on all these field trips and do all these things and read books and be creative and just do whatever I wanted to. And I think when you're little, you don't see limitations as much. And I think as an adult, especially, approaching 30 for me, you see what your limitations are, and you have to let some things go that are just not going to happen for you. Or you see that there is so much like work and steps and roadblocks and things involved. Not meaning that in like a negative way, but I think when you're little, you don't see those limitations. You just think you can do anything. And that imagination part and being creative part, I think is the most fun thing about being a kid. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it was kind of long. I got off on a couple of tangents, but let me know what your favorite childhood things are. You can either answer the questions below or you can video tag me. I would love that. And I'm looking forward to seeing people's responses. Have a good day. Bye.